describe to me the last 24 hours, the last 7 days. I mean, when did this first pop up on your radar that you might fight Tony Ferguson?
I think it was about 9 days ago, and I feel like there's 7 point something billion people on Earth, and not one person is in my position right now, and I love it. Um, my family, they all get they're all super nervous, super excited. Everyone totally believes in me. Brings me comfort. But I know what I have in front of me. Tony Ferguson he lives in dark places. He's going to take me to a dark place. And, MMA was defined by a fight like me and Tony Ferguson.
Did you have any kind of inkling, or did you have any kind of premonition that this was a possibility?
I mean, I should have. I definitely should have. But it's really hard to get ready for something, like this without this being at the end of the tunnel. This bright light wasn't there, so I had to wake up every morning with the ambition that I'm fighting for a world title. But ultimately, since I was 4 years old, I've stepped into practice and I've worked my butt off. I've tried to make myself quit thousands and thousands and thousands of times. So, I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this opportunity.
So you said 9 days ago. I'm trying to picture. You're probably in your home. I mean, I'm guessing just because we're all in our homes these days. Or where were you when you got the call that hey, Justin, this may be a possibility?
Yeah, I was sitting on it was like 11 p.m. I think last Saturday or Sunday maybe, and I think it was Friday night. They called me and said, "Would you like to?" I was like, call my coach, and then coach is like, you don't take late replacement fights. And I was like, you're right. And the next day, I said, let's sleep on it. I woke up and I was like, where are we at if I lose? And for me, it's the same exact spot. And, I've been scheduled for, I think, 14 or 15 5-round fights. I've never gone the distance. My fights, either I get finished or they get finished inside 3 rounds. And with a matchup like this, with me and Tony Ferguson, one of us is going to finish each other inside 3 rounds. That's what I think.
Why have you been, because you're kind of famous for it, why are you so against short notice fights, or have you been against those fights?
Well, so when I train for a fight, I really go to a special place. Every single day I do not cheat. I wake up with a goal in mind, and it's just to be better than yesterday. And the more days you could do that in a row, the more prepared you will be. So for me, it's it's always that mental warfare. Confidence is huge in there, and if you aren't prepared, then you can't be confident, or as confident as you should be. Thankfully, I've been, my 2 teammates, Austin Hubbard, Neil Magny, they fought on the Las Vegas card, so I was their main training partners, main sparring partners, and I've been going hard since January, February. So when I went to my coach, I was like, Coach, I've been sparring 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds for fun, since January. I can do this, and then you put a world title on top of that, interim world title, the opportunity that's on the table right now, it's a no-brainer for me.
Is that who you had to convince? Was your head coach Trevor? I mean, was that the guy who makes the call for you?
Yeah, Trevor does make the call, and I think as soon as he heard the confidence and the wherewithal that I wanted to take the fight, he was super excited and he was all in. But yeah, he's the ultimate decision maker. I trust him. If I wasn't ready or I wasn't capable, he would not let me step in there. So I'm content and I'm ready.
How are you training for this fight? I mean, obviously, everybody knows what's going on in the world and quarantines and social distancing and everything else. How will you be preparing for this fight in this short amount of time?
Yeah, I mean, so we're trying to follow every guideline. We don't have any more than 7 people in the room at a time. I have 3 training partners and myself and 2 coaches. There's 6 of us usually, and then maybe a camera guy sometime. But we do that twice a week at a private place. And then every other workout for me is one-on-one. My wrestling is one-on-one with my wrestling coach. My boxing and kickboxing is with my coach Trevor, one-on-one. So it really hasn't changed that much. And ultimately, I have a treadmill downstairs. So if I want to get the work in, I'll get the work in. If I don't, and I want to be lazy, then I'll find excuses.
I mean, this might be a tough question to answer in your situation because you want to go into this thing feeling, 100% confident. But can you give us some kind of idea if you were given a full camp Justin Gaethje at a full camp compared to where you'll be when you fight Tony Ferguson on April 18th? What kind of percentage or what kind of level will you be at compared to what you're used to?
That's a hard question. That's a very hard question. Because, me being a realist, I have to be real and I have to be very honest when you ask me that question. I know that I got about 18 to 19 minutes of pure hell, pure fury. And I know how hard I hit. But after that, it's going to be extremely tough to fight with Tony Ferguson in that space. I think I'm 90% right now, and I think I'll be closer to 95%. I have made some big sacrifices that in the last, just 10 days, I've lost, 12 pounds, and I have not cheated one time. When I go in there, I will give 100% as I do every time. Humans recognize effort, and I will give you max effort.
You mentioned your weight. You've lost 12 pounds. How is your weight? How difficult is it going to be for you to get to 155 by April 17th?
April 18th. Oh, 17th. Yes. Oh. I cut weight my whole life. It's just digging deep. I'm going to have to dig. The last I would say 3 pounds, but ultimately the last 5 pounds are going to be extremely tough to get off. But, an interim world title is a huge opportunity. And, I've done it my whole life. I used to cut 20 pounds a week, because of bad choices. Now I'm making good choices. I think it'll definitely be easier. I am older. That does make it a little tougher, but I think with the right decisions, I will have no problem making weight.
Are you willing to tell us what you weigh right now? How far you got to go?
Yeah, I'm 13 pounds over right now. I don't cut weight like a lot of people, 13 pounds is probably too low for a lot of people, but that's not how I do it. I want to go in there, on fight night, when I step in that octagon, I'll weigh 173 pounds.
You mentioned that it's quite an opportunity, an interim title fight. And, I've seen over the course of history, some guys put a lot of emphasis on an interim title. Some guys don't. Clearly you do. What does an interim title mean to you?
So what an interim title means to me and every other fighter, when you are a champion, you get a piece of the pay-per-view. When I obtain this belt, that makes me a champion on paper in the UFC's eyes, and that gives me pay-per-view points. I fight for money, and this opportunity is huge for me in that regard. Same with Tony. I think that's why Tony's taking it, because if he wins this belt, he gets a piece of the pie next fight. That's why we're all doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and another thing you mentioned on Twitter is that you use an expletive, a curse word that I won't repeat, but you said that you're scared or you're terrified.
I was, yeah. It took me like 4 or 5 days. I couldn't even sleep. I haven't had this feeling in a long time. So every time I get it, I love it, and it really kicks me in the butt and gets me going. But with such a short training camp, it definitely was harder to overcome. But you got to face your fears. This opportunity is here. Dana White is going to pull this off, and I'm going to go in there and fight my butt off.
When was the last time you were terrified like that? You said it's been a while.
Man, I don't remember ever being that scared as I was.
And what scares you? What scares you? Tony or?
It's the confidence. Confidence is everything for me, and I know, I'm not an idiot. That it takes time. It takes preparation to be ready to push the pace that I push for 25 minutes. Luckily, I'm very confident that I can do that. And I've been in worse spots hundreds of times in my career where this would have never been an opportunity. But I knew, even in January and February, I was telling myself internally that no matter what, I'm going to fight again, and it's going to be a huge fight. So I was still going into practice with that mindset. Mm-hmm. And I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful that, it was in, somewhere back there in the back of my head that this was a possibility. And I do feel like I have been, subconsciously training for something like this.
Mm-hmm. Based on what you said, and you're right, you're a realist and you give honest answers. So based on what you said of like maybe after 18 minutes, this is going to be really, really a difficult challenge. Does that change the game plan at all? And I mean, you're kind of already a guy that goes in there and looks for an early knockout anyway.
Yeah, no, it doesn't change a thing. I think I've been scheduled for like 14, 15, 16 5-round fights. I've never gone 5 rounds. I've gone 1 minute into the 4th round one time. And the two times that I went the longest, I lost both of those fights. And so with the way that I fight, I really feel like I have changed the way that I fight. I feel like I conserve energy much more. And I feel like I could fight like I fought the last 3 fights. I could fight like that forever, for as many rounds as I need to.
Yeah.
Tony doesn't allow that. Tony's, he would be smart not to allow that. But, I really need to touch his legs, touch his body. And so he doesn't want to engage, and really allows me to fight at my pace. That's what I'm going in there to do. Fight my fight and, put him to sleep. I have to touch him. He gets touched a lot. He engages a lot. I know he's going to be super pumped up mentally for this fight because of the circumstances, because of the lost opportunity to fight Khabib. So I know he's going to be aggressive. I know he's going to come out and he's going to be aggressive. He's going to make mistakes, and I'm going to touch him.
Hey, real quick, random question for you. I know that your father has been a key figure throughout your entire career. He was there from your very first fight. Yeah. What was your conversation like with him when you told him that this was going to happen?
Dude, it was crazy. They were all so excited. I was really surprised how excited they all were, and how the confidence they had in my ability to go out there and beat this guy was super. My dad's he's a great man. He's exactly like me. He said, "Listen, son, we know you got 18 minutes, 17, 18 minutes in you." He's like, "And we know you're going to try your hardest. Just be okay with that." And I was like, "You're right. You're so right." So yeah, he's that's why I go in there with no fear, because I know that I have the support. A good family support system can take you so far in life, and it's so important to me. And win or lose, I know that I have that at home.
Do you know where this fight is taking place, Justin?
I don't. It's like a kumite. I love it.
You do? You like it, huh?
Oh yeah. Tell me the day of. I'm cool.
Huh. I mean, any other type of details, just in terms of testing? I mean, this virus is scaring a lot of people out there. I mean, will you be tested for the virus? Are those questions that you're asking? What types?
Those are questions that I'm asking, but those are not questions that I have got answers to. So, I'd like a private plane. That'd be nice. I'd like. I'm taking every precaution possible, but there's a few ways that I will die young. And fighting unprepared and not taking the necessary steps is one of them for me. So that's the battle right now for me.
Wow. That's really how you look at it, is by taking a fight on short notice, that it's not just about a win or loss. Like this is an impactful thing for the rest of your life, potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know. I mean, this is a very dangerous sport, but something like coronavirus could, you can get sick and you could lose that battle. So, life is short, man. I love these opportunities. I like to take risks. I like to face my fears. And this is exactly what I signed up for. Tony Ferguson.
What do you think of
for a chance to fight Khabib? That's what I want.
And by the way, speaking of Tony Ferguson, I remember years ago, like an interview that you and I did, and you were very bullish, saying that you would love to fight Tony Ferguson. It actually sounded kind of personal. Was there ever anything personal between you two? Is there something personal now?
I'm a huge fan of Tony. I love the way he fights. I'm a huge fan of MMA. Humans recognize effort. I recognize effort. And I know I know how bad he wants it. I know how hard he tries. So you have to respect that. I've always had respect for him for that. And I have more respect because I know he's going to try to cut my face up.
Mm-hmm. Before this fight, there was some chatter about you potentially fighting Conor McGregor this summer. You have any interest in Conor McGregor now, or are you thinking Tony Ferguson and then Khabib, or would you entertain the idea of fighting Conor if the opportunity came up?
No, I'm fighting for this interim title to unify the belt with Khabib. After that, it doesn't matter. That's the only goal in sight. These two right now are the only things in my sights. Conor McGregor, I don't know. I don't make the choices. I'm going to go out there and fight my ass off. That's it. That's all I know how to do. And I really trust in the people that I've surrounded myself with to make sure that I'm not getting, pushed over or taken advantage of. And I hope that the UFC really gives me recognition for sticking my neck out here. I'm sticking my neck out here, and I know that, and they should know that. And, I'm ready, and I want to do it for the people. that was also a big part of why I decided to do it. I knew, all the UFC employees, they don't get paid if they don't work. And if there's no event, there's no work. So I knew that I could help there. I knew that I could help with no sporting events being on. I knew I could bring some entertainment, and then I get a paycheck, and it's a huge opportunity for me.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind saying this, man. I mean, you fighting Tony Ferguson at an undisclosed location, and then who knows what happens from there, man. You win that fight. Maybe you fight Khabib on one of these private islands that Dana's talking about, and maybe the year ends with you fighting Conor McGregor in Ireland, like you asked for last year. I mean, what a run that would be.
I'm gonna keep putting all that energy out there. I'm gonna keep putting. This is what I signed up for. I won't be around forever, so I want the biggest opportunities. I want to be on a pedestal, and I want, if I get knocked